Yes, Eric is here once again. Thank you for being with us. We're seeing a little too much of each other these days. Okay, so the latest update, it is weakening. However, it's also picking up speed. What else can you tell us?
Right, so Tropical Storm Olivia has weakened. It's a 55-mile-per-hour system right now, and it's continuing its trek towards the state. We do have the track somewhere over Maui County coming in from the east tonight through tomorrow. But we really don't want people to focus in on that track. We can still expect that damaging winds can extend out from the exact center of the storm. So really anywhere from Oahu and the northern part of the Big Island, which is going to be within the vicinity of Olivia, can still see damaging winds tonight, starting tonight and into tomorrow.
Okay. Is this more of a wind event than a rain event?
Potentially, it could start off as a wind event starting tonight and into tomorrow. And as Olivia makes its way across the Maui County area, some of the moisture behind it could start to, bring in all that rainfall starting tomorrow. So also with the mountainous terrain, a lot of the winds can be accelerated over mountains, around valleys, through valleys, and kind of the gaps in between the mountaintops. And also the mountaintops can also enhance rainfall. So really we can still see some potentially damaging effects from wind and potential flash flooding from rainfall.
So the leeward sides may experience some even stronger winds than on the windward side, if we're talking about, for example, Oahu.
Right, for example, for Oahu, as Olivia comes closer, winds will be coming out of the northeast. It can go up the Ko'olau Mountains and then downslope into the Central Valley, and also the same thing can happen over the Waianae Mountains as well. So leeward areas could see some enhanced wind because of the downsloping effect. And also as it gets closer to Maui County, we could also see winds funneling between the West Maui Mountains and Haleakala, also through the channels between the islands. All these areas that can help funnel and accelerate the winds could be quite damaging.
Right, that area leading to Ma'alaya, I mean, it can be extremely windy on a normal trade wind day.
Right, so even on a normal trade wind day, some of these areas can get pretty windy. So with a 55-mile-per-hour system, these winds can definitely be enhanced through these gaps and acceleration areas. Also, the rainfall, we're going to see that orographic lifting, all that rainfall interacting with terrain could be, we could see some localized heavy downpours. We're still expecting about, 5 to 10 inches of rainfall across the state. Some of these could be locally higher, and, that threat for flash flooding still exists.
And especially so for areas like East Maui or the eastern side of the island of Hawaii.
Right, so windward areas, I think we're going to see some enhanced rainfall, especially as Olivia makes its way through the islands. Also going back to wind, once we have this circulation of Olivia, once it passes through the islands, the wind direction can change dramatically. So it might start off with winds as Olivia makes its way through the state. Winds will come in from the east or northeast. As Olivia passes the islands, then the winds can start to come out of the south. So we can really expect some strong variableness to the winds. We'll see some erratic wind directions as well as Olivia passes through the islands. So really, anywhere across the state, we can see potentially damaging winds from all different directions that they may not be used to.
So even as the eye, it's not an eye, but as the center crosses Maui County, where we will not be in the clear?
Right, definitely. We can still expect winds to be quite damaging. The winds right now extend out 90 miles from the center of the circulation. So the tropical storm force winds still extend quite a bit out. So the periphery of the storm and the center of the circulation, outer islands, we can still expect the potential for damaging winds.
The fast forward motion of the storm, does that just enhance the winds of the storm itself?
It can, but mainly the winds will be affected by terrain. Like we said earlier, around over the mountains, downsloping, and around points and valleys and through the channels, we can expect the highest winds.
Now, with a tropical storm like this, does the terrain of the islands impact the viability of the storm itself? I mean, does it help to break it up?
Right, it's weakening, and we're continuing to forecast a weakening trend. But even though we're still expecting Olivia to make it over the islands as a tropical storm. So that's what we really want people to focus in on is it's still a tropical storm and we can't really let our guards down yet because, you know, we can still see these winds and rain. Also, high surf is going to be along the east-facing shores as Olivia gets closer.
And tropical storm is sustained winds at 39 to 73 miles per hour?
Right, somewhere around there. So yes, 39 miles per hour to about 73, 74 miles per hour. So, you know, winds in that range, you know, we can see damaging effects. So, weak structures across the islands with single wall construction homes, you know, roof shingles could be blown off, branches, structures that have been damaged by termites, they're weakened. So, those are vulnerable to these stronger winds.
Okay. And those are sustained winds. Of course, they're going to be higher gusts. So we can expect this system, once it comes here, you can see how these winds are moving up from the south, and we can expect that, right, to come into the southern sides of the islands as well.
Right. So through tonight, we'll start to see winds pick up from the northeast. And as the center of the circulation moves across the islands, then we'll start to see the circulation and the winds follow, turning from the south and southeast. So, you know, the winds will be quite erratic through tonight into tomorrow.
And this, what we're looking at, is cloud cover, right? Here we have radar, which shows rainfall, which is very minimal at this time. But is there an area of the storm that has the most moisture?
Right, so right now, if we look at the radar, there's not a lot of showers out there. We're kind of just seeing some of these leading cloud bands that are moving across the islands. Most of the precipitation and the moisture is on the backside of Olivia right now. So as Olivia gets closer, we'll start to see more of the impacts of the moisture and the rainfall as it gets closer to the islands and moves across.
And even after it moves across, because it's behind it, right? Like Lane, we saw a lot of moisture being pulled up from the south, and especially for East Hawaii. Can we expect the same with Olivia?
Right, definitely. So anybody within the backside of Olivia, we can see that moisture is going to be increasing. So anywhere across the state, we could see potentially, 5 to 10 inches of rainfall. Might be a little bit less across the Big Island, but some of the areas where they're more prone to flooding, and depending on the wind direction and how that moisture flows up the island terrain, that's where you're going to see the enhancement of rainfall.
And we haven't spoken much about Kauai and Ni'ihau, but the potential is there?
Right, definitely the potential is there as Olivia tracks across Maui County. So, some of the northern fringes of Olivia with the stronger winds could potentially bring some tropical storm force winds across Kauai and Ni'ihau tomorrow, Wednesday. Okay. They were put into a tropical storm warning this morning, so.
I know the forecast right now has the center of Olivia having passed Maui County by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. When can we expect all of Olivia to be away from the island?
I mean, it'll take a few days for Olivia to make its way westward, so we could potentially see maybe not so much of the winds once Olivia makes its way through the islands, but definitely the lingering moisture across the islands. Wednesday night into Thursday and maybe into Friday, we could see enhanced rainfall from that lingering moisture of Olivia.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a couple more things, but what is making Olivia take this path? I mean, we've seen Lane go north and, Lane go to the west there, and then Norman, right, that went north. What is it that keeps Olivia on this track over Maui County, and is there any chance that there would be much deviation?
Right, so every single storm or hurricane is different. It's kind of like our fingerprints, right? So there's no exact situation, only because of the surrounding environmental conditions. So for Olivia, there's a high pressure system to our north that's kind of just maintaining itself up here. So it's just steering Olivia along that path towards the island. So that's kind of what's driving the direction right now.
And so as long as the high pressure is forecast to stay there, you can forecast the path to be the same.
Right. So the high pressure is forecasted to remain in this vicinity. So we're going to see that southwest bend of the forecast track that we've been forecasting over the last few days, and over the last few hours we've kind of seen that turn to the west-southwest. So it's been on track.
So unlike Lane, a lot of the models have been pretty much in agreement for the whole time, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's been pretty consistent as far as even the weakening of Olivia and also the forecast track. There were some deviations either north or south of it, but those fluctuations are normal and expected. But the main path of Olivia has been pretty consistent over the last few model runs.
And we were looking at, so shear, our friend, did its job and is contributing to the weakening, but the moisture from those thunderstorms and so forth is still there, you were saying?
Right, so we're going to still continue to see this kind of moisture associated with Olivia get pulled across the islands as Olivia makes its way across Maui County. So definitely the moisture will be lingering over the next few days. So definitely flash flood prone areas can really see some enhanced rainfall and potential for flash flooding.
Okay. And I'll let you go in just a minute. When can you give us again a timeline for the strongest of winds and the most moisture for the islands?
So we can probably start to see winds increasing tonight. And then for Maui County, Oahu, and parts of the Big Island, the winds will start increasing this evening into tonight. We'll start to see that continue on through tomorrow into Wednesday. So that's kind of the timeline for the winds. And then the following rainfall behind Olivia as it makes its way across the islands. And so we'll see that lingering moisture over the islands probably Wednesday into Thursday and maybe Friday. So it looks like right now we're going to see wind first and moisture later.
Okay. And last question, I promise. Our next full update is at 5 o'clock. And I know you'll be busy because the Central Pacific Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service is a part of a teleconference with the governor and the mayors and so forth. Tell us what that's all about. What happens there?
Well, the teleconference that they have with the leadership of the state of Hawaii, they talk about all the potential impacts that may face, and that's where all the decision making comes into play with regards to any kind of public closures or anything like that. So that's where they all get together, they find out what the latest is, and then they make their decisions based on the potential impacts.
All right, and that'll be at about 5:15, about when the update from the Central Pacific Hurricane Center starts. Thank you very much for being with us, but if you could stay with us all night, we'll keep talking to you. Thanks, Eric. Eric Lau, meteorologist here at the National Weather Service. Howard, back to you.